Hi, welcome back to a video stack. I just finished testing a new SSD of which I don't know what to think. This video is about the MP44 2TB, one of the PCI Express 4.0 drives without DRAM, launched by Team Group earlier this year. I specify that this review is not sponsored in any way by Team Group. I bought this SSD for this review. By the way, Team Group is a Taiwanese company founded in 1997 and a leading provider of memory and storage solutions with products sold in over 100 countries worldwide. As advertised, the MP44 promised quick transfer speeds of up to 7400 MB per second on read and 7000 MB per second on write. But was it able to provide? I can only say that the testing revealed both very good results and some downfalls. But let's start with the beginning. The drive comes in a box of moderate size, colored simple in black and white with a blue contour. Here we can find that the drive is equipped with 3D TLC NAND, SLC caching and label with graphene. The back of the box talks about a 5-year warranty and provides basic installation schematics. Inside, the only thing we can find is the plastic holder containing the SSD. It features a black PCB and is single-sided. The front label is made of a sheet of graphene aluminum having an active rolling heat dissipation. NVMe PCI Express 4.0 drives get hot, so the producer recommends using them with a motherboard heatsink for best performance. This drive is produced in capacities of 512 GB, 1 TB, 2 TB, 4 TB and 8 TB. This model has also very high endurance limits, never seen before, ranging from 700 TB written to 6000 TB written for the 8 TB model. After installing the drive on the PCI Express 4.0 M.2 slot and after initializing it in Windows, I opened the Smart Tool TG application, which offers nothing but basic functionality. The interface is divided in 4 tabs. The Disk Info tab displays details about the disk currently selected. The System Info tab displays details about system hardware. The Performance tab hosts a benchmarking tool, and the About tab displays the version of the application. In Crystal Disk Mark, in a peak performance test with 1 GB file, MP44 places right below the high-end DRAM-based SSDs with very good sequential speeds. In the peak performance test with 8 GB file, it places above the other two DRAM-less SSDs, WD_BLACK SN770 and Lexar NM710, while showing the weakest random write speed from all. In the real-world performance test with 1 GB file, MP44 2TB show competitive sequential speeds. At the same time, the random write speed is lower than the one of Lexar NM710 and equal with the one of Gen 3 Silicon Power drive. In the real-world performance test with 8 GB file, the Team Group drive maintains the competitive sequential speeds and shows again the worst random write speed from all. As SSD benchmark determines the sequential and random read and write performance of the SSD without using the operating system cache, being unforgiving with the DRAM-less drives. In the test with 1 GB file, MP44 gets a satisfactory mid position due to both the highest sequential speeds and the worst random write speed from all. In the test with 10 GB file, MP44 2TB goes to its rightful position in the chart, while having identical sequential read speed to WD_BLACK SN850X 2TB and the worst random write speed from all. This is the sequential read diagram in megabytes per second measured with Autodisk benchmark, and these are the diagrams of the two competing DRAM-less models. Both the Lexar and Team Group drives are equipped with the same controller. The diagrams of the same tests, but in IOs per second, shows where the read speed differences are coming from. The sequential write diagram in megabytes per second of the Team Group drive versus those of the two competing models shows the MP44 2TB being outshined by the other two starting with 32 KB. However, the diagrams of the same tests but in IOs per second reveals that MP44 2TB is capable of higher operations in the 512 bytes to 16 KB range. The system drive performance tested with past Smart Disk Mark places MP44 2TB on an honorable 3rd position, below SN850X 2TB and Fury Renegade 1TB, thanks to its very good sequential speeds. As system drive on PCI Express 4.0 M.2 slot, Team Group MP44 maintained relatively good temperatures, both on idle at 43 Celsius degrees and during Crystal D Smart testing, when it reached the maximum temperature of only 46 Celsius degrees. The 3 Celsius degrees delta is actually the smallest difference between the idle and maximum temperatures from all the drives. In Crystal D Smart, in a peak performance test with 1 GB file, MP44 2TB takes the lead with the best sequential read speed and the best random write speed. However, in a peak performance test with 8 GB file, MP44 falls really bad due to the poor random write speed, although it had very good sequential speeds. In the real world performance test with 1 GB file, the MP44 takes the lead again without standing out with anything. In the real world performance test with 8 GB file, it falls one position due to the weakest random write speed from all. The unforgiving ASSSD benchmark with 1 GB file places MP44 to a satisfactory mid position due to both the highest sequential speeds and the worst random write speed from all. In the test with 10 GB file, MP44 2TB goes to its rightful position in the chart while having good sequential speeds and the worst random write speed from all. The system drive performance tested with PassMart DSMark places MP44 2TB on the second half of the chart between SN770 2TB and NM710 1TB drives. As system drive on PCI Express 3.0 M.2 slot, Team Group MP44 maintained relatively good temperatures, both on idle at 42 Celsius degrees and during Crystal D Smart testing, when it reached a maximum temperature of only 44 Celsius degrees. The 2 Celsius degree delta is actually the smallest difference between the idle and maximum temperatures from all the drives. The FreeDMR storage benchmark evaluates performance by running gaming related tasks and repeats them 3 times, this way managing to stress the drives enough to get a clearer differentiation in terms of gaming performance. Therefore, the testing on PCI Express 4.0 places Team Group MP44 2TB on a surprising 3rd position in the chart, with good bandwidth and access time, and a score of 3,872 points. The Forspoken benchmark tests the load times of different game scenes, providing the individual results. I repeat the testing 3 times and pick the run with the best average. On PCI Express 4.0, the best average load time places the Team Group drive on the 4th position, between ADATA and Solidigm drives. On PCI Express 3.0, the FreeDMR storage benchmark places MP44 2TB on the 4th place with a score of 3,340 points. It is actually the first DRAM-less drive scoring higher on PCI Express 3.0 than the other DRAM-less drives on PCI Express 4.0, in this particular case higher than Lexar NM710 1TB and WD Black SN770 2TB. The best average load time in Forspoken benchmark on PCI Express 3.0 is the second best one, placing MP44 between Solidigm and Kingston drives. In the left chart, you can see the best current prices of the compared drives in Romania, the usable capacity in megabytes, and the endurance for each of them. In the right chart is the resulted price for 100 megabytes of usable capacity. For Team Group MP44 2TB, 100 megabytes of usable capacity costs now €5.71. This is the best offer for a DRAM-less drive that's also sustained by the overall good testing results. But the cost is just one aspect. Based on the 5 years warranty of the drives and their rated endurance, we can determine that Team Group MP44 2TB supports daily writes up to 1.4 TB of content. These charts show MP44 2TB in the ideal position of having both the best price and the highest endurance. Now let's relate the price to performance. Team Group MP44 2TB costs today 541 RON, equivalent of about €109. Considering its price and performance in FreeDMR storage benchmark on PCI Express 4.0 as 100%, we can see that the WD Black SN770 2TB costs 6% more, for 16% less performance. If we consider the SN770's price and performance in FreeDMR storage benchmark as 100%, we can observe that MP44 costs now 6% less for 19% more performance, which is a real bargain for this capacity. Testing this drive with the usual benchmarks showed impressive sequential results and disappointing random write results. This makes me not recommend using it as a system disk. However, Team Group MP44 is the best DRAM-less SSD tested so far on this channel. Built entirely with Chinese components, it is equipped with newer controller and superior NAND flash modules compared to the controller and flash module used in the WD Black Ascent 770. It is worth remembering that this drive is also produced in capacities of 4TB and 8TB, which makes it recommended for both large game libraries and data storage. Bottom line, TeamGroup MP44 2TB is fast and offers a good value for money, at least at the time of this video. I hope this has been informative for you. Subscribe to channel, like and share the videos, and I'll see you in the next one.